Welcome to another episode of Behind the VR Headset. Today we have, as our guest, Mr. Mobeast Gaming. Hi, Mr.
What's
Mo.
up, everyone? What's up, everyone?
How you doing, Mo? You good?
I'm good, man. Staying cool in the heat.
Yeah, we were just discussing the heat here. It's like 33, and for you it's like 40 odd, isn't it?
Almost 40, yeah.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you from?
I'm from Southern California.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's going to be pretty.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's. But you
The
guys.
sun's hot.
Yeah. But you guys have like your sun's comfortable. This sun here is like acid in your skin. It's like.
Yeah. I'm in the desert, so it's just dry. That's all we get. It's just dry.
But yeah, it's been a warm few weeks, man, all over. But you guys got like air conditioning and stuff as standard, right? So.
Yeah. You can't survive here without AC.
It's not.
The cars, everything. You can't.
Yeah, so it's not so bad, man. But let's talk about your channel. So you have a YouTube channel, and do you want to tell people what it's about and what you get up to on your channel?
So, I mean, it started off mainly just a channel for my room. If you guys have seen the video, it's just a game room that I have, a lot of collectibles, a lot of junk. I'm running out of space, to be honest. I might have to get a whole house just for that. But it started off as that and just kind of just talk about video games in general. And now it's kind of, I decided to just make it strictly VR. Just focus on that since that's my latest obsession.
Okay, and
yeah.
What? First of all, I was wondering, I heard it somewhere, I think, but where does the name come from for your channel?
It essentially started in high school. I'm pretty athletic, play a lot of sports. It started off on, it's like a random clubhouse that we had an outdoor basketball court. We're playing basketball. I'm a bigger dude, always bigger than most of my friends. Not too tall, but stocky. And I was playing down the post, and I was just scoring and getting all the rebounds, and someone just said, "Hey, Mobeast, good job," and that was it. Okay. That was literally it. It's just like just dominating the game and just Mobeast, and that was it. And it just stuck there. So
from that day on, you were called Mobeast.
Yeah, mainly in sports. And I was like, hey, I wasn't really sure what my YouTube channel would be named. I was like, I was something a little different. Mobeast. It was kind of too close to Mr. Beast, but it was too late by the time I made it.
So your channel is. When did you start your channel? How long ago was it? And what was the first? What made you? I know you said the game room, but what was that moment when you thought, oh, let me make a video on this or let me stream this? How did that come about?
Essentially, I created the channel in 2018 or 2019.
Yeah.
Didn't really do much. I didn't really start uploading till Call of Duty Warzone was out. I was making just a few highlight videos with my friends, just trolling them. And then a lot of my friends just kept pushing me to do it because before I used to be on YouTube doing a lot of fitness stuff for about 3 or 4 years. I kind of stopped. It really consumed my life, and I was like, okay, I kind of need a break. So it was kind of a hard getting back into YouTube because I knew how much work it took. So I was like, I got a lot of push. A lot of my friends saw the room, all the games I had, all the games like knowledge that I had. Like, you gotta start a channel, you gotta really start uploading videos. So I kind of just started uploading a few videos here and there, a few gameplay stuff, and then I started taking it a little bit more seriously when I made my first, Game Boy game, and started uploading a little bit more from there, and slowly transitioned to VR.
So did you say you made a Game Boy game?
Yeah, for my friends. Cool. We yeah.
Tell us more about
play
that.
It on a Game Boy.
Okay.
So I had a career change since the whole pandemic. I was actually a personal trainer, and huge into video games. I was like, there was much opportunity during the pandemic. A lot of places were shut down for about 1.5 years, 2 years. The whole personal training business, like, I had to shut it down. There was no way I can get back into it. It's like, let me start exploring a few different things out there, getting some programming, video game development, and I host a lot of game nights here at my house with my friends. So we play a lot of video games. We sleep over for 24 hours. We had the whole 24-hour experience. They sleep over. We have a bunch of food, pizza. So we did the first one last October, and they were like stunned. and they wanted to do it again. I was like, well, how can I do this again? So initially in the first game night, I kind of did like a online D&D experience for them, like through WhatsApp. Made it a little simple. It had a story, and it kind of led into the game night. They had to solve a few puzzles to get into the game night. So the second game night, I was like, how can I make this a little bit better? I was like, I'm already learning to program. I was like, how about I turn into this game night into a video game and continue the story from the first one and make it a complete surprise and make a chunk of the game night for a couple hours just for them to play this Game Boy game on the TV. I made it in some program called GB Studio.
Yeah.
Its own game engine. Some guy made it. It's really cool, really simple. If anyone wants to get into game development or want to test the waters and make something a little bit fun, it's almost like RPG Maker, but it's a little different. It's really simple, and it kind of gives you the basics of programming logic. So it was really cool, and I spent probably 2.5 months. It's kind of broken at some point. I kind of have to go back and fix it, but that's on pause right now. But yeah.
Oh, cool. So what was the game about? What was it, like an RPG game then, or?
It was kind of like an action based with a few puzzles.
Yeah.
Nothing too complex in the combat. Just a few enemies. You just press A, you kill them. Some of them take a little bit more hits than normal. I try to make it very simple because I kind of gave myself a deadline for 2.5 months just to get it done. And there was a few puzzles. I'm really into escape rooms. I kind of designed the whole story around a lot of puzzles. I made a lot of puzzles leading up to the video game without them knowing it. And those puzzles, like word-based puzzles in the group chat, kind of led into the video game itself. So it's kind of like there's a story to it. And there's a lot of personal in-circle jokes that they would have to know in order to solve some of the puzzles. Kind of a little bit customized, you know?
Oh, that sounds really cool, mate. Like,
Yeah.
I know you said you were working on maybe some game development stuff. I didn't realise you'd already. Is that on your channel? Because I didn't see.
I haven't really posted anything about it yet because it's kind of in the early stages. I do plan on sharing a lot more of it. Right now, I'm focusing on honing my skills on C++. Okay. I kind of got to a point in Unreal. Okay, like I need to like enhance my skills more than just focusing on some of the nodes. I don't know if you experienced in Unreal or looked at it. It's a lot of node connecting. But I was like, let me focus on a little bit more C++. I talked to some of the developers at RFVR. Talked a little bit,
nice,
and I figured I was like, maybe I should just stop the Unreal a little bit, focus a few months on C++, and just kind of go back.
Oh, cool. Because I had them on OMFG and Chicken.
Yeah.
So you had a chat with
them.
Yeah. Top guys, they really love. They know their stuff. They love the game they're working on. Brilliant game.
Yeah.
Everyone's heard us talk about it. Have you? Because I know you won a key and you bought the game for your friends and stuff. Have you actually managed to get into RFVR yet?
I got it, downloaded it, and I jumped into the start menu, explored it a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I saw how massive it is. I was like, damn, I need to get my friends on this. So everyone's been so busy recently, and our timing with me, you, and Mac time difference is huge.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna have to like continue a little bit more on my own without them and just explore. But I did jump in. I was like, this is massive. It's massive, man.
Yep, it is. I mean, I put loads of tutorials up anyway, so if you watch those, you will kind of get a gist of what. So you see me play it and stuff, and Mac, of course.
I watch almost every of your stream, so I think I'm a pro at this point.
Oh, cheers, appreciate that, man. See what happens if you watch all of my content, you get to be on my show. And the game that you're working on now, is that the same game, the Game Boy game from before, or is this a totally different game?
It's a totally different game. It's kind of, I'm more into story-based experiences. Some of my favorite games, like although I do love all the other video games, like all the action RPG, all the stuff in games, I have some of my favorites and a lot of platformers, Nintendo games, but some of the games that left the most impact for me are those choice-based games like Detroit Become Human, Until Dawn, Heavy Rain. Those games, because they're so story rich and you kind of dictate how the story goes, that's kind of where in the direction I'm kind of going, trying to figure out the balance between, because with VR it's so immersive, and I feel like if games like that start popping up in VR, it will take the immersive level to the next level. Yeah,
because games where you make a choice and it actually makes a difference, To me, even I love those kind of games. And there are games that kind of play with it and toy with it, and but it doesn't really make a difference. Now, the game you're making, is it specific to VR?
Yeah, mainly it's strictly VR game. Yeah, strictly VR game. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that VR I haven't seen, to be honest. And it's like RFVR. You haven't seen a game like that before. I've been playing Sail recently, which is like Sea of Thieves and VR. Nobody's done that. So that's the great thing with VR, with people like developers and yourself, is you have the vision of a certain game that nobody else has made. Because a lot of the games people have made, and they've missed the bar slightly, or they that they haven't reached it, or they've released it too early and all that kind of stuff. But I think a game like that is a great idea. Do you have like a time frame before you get like a demo or early access, or are we talking a year or?
I'm hoping, because the game is, I'm thinking it to be mainly a 2-3 hour max experience. I kind of want to make it a short story. I'm hoping to have some part, like the first probably 10 minutes, like clean, done, like there's no work need to be done sometime by the end of this year.
Oh, nice.
Balancing a full-time job with learning programming and designing that, it's pretty hectic. Yeah, I kind of, regardless of whether to show it or not, I kind of need it on my portfolio when I'm applying a job, so that's kind of my main driver. But hopefully, on the channel, I'll show a little bit more of the development process of it. Make it a series or make it a separate channel. Not sure yet, but you guys will find out.
Yeah, I mean, people also do like to watch like people making games, like in 3D, making assets and doing all kinds of stuff. People tune in to watch that. So people that are trying to learn game development from scratch and things like that, like people like me, I wouldn't mind learning a bit about game development and stuff like that. I've been a gamer since the 80s, so I've got millions and millions of games in my head, and like all you've got to do is come up with the idea, and it needs to be like not like everyone else. Like, you've got certain games that are great, but it's kind of like, like the FIFA games, they come out every year, like, and they're the same but slightly different, and everyone kind of plays it safe. So if you do something totally different and it's executed well, you'll get a better response out of people. And with the total experience, you said it's going to be what, 3 hours? You say, like,
max. That's the goal. Yeah, try to make it really short. So
that really, in reality, it'll be a lot longer than 3 hours, because you have to do all the different branches, don't you, depending on what people say. So
yeah.
And then they'll have replayability, and then if you have like a choice where it makes a massive difference to the plot or the ending and stuff like that, people will go back into it and play it. Yeah, I didn't realise that, mate. I just thought you said you were working on a game, and you didn't say too much about it. So I thought when you come on here, I'd ask you.
I just hit my microphone. I'm sorry, but I didn't want to like say too much, because I wasn't really sure exactly. I do have a premise, but once a lot of videos, I'll start sharing all the details and all the plans and everything I want to do. Because I don't mind, but I don't want to say, I thought you said that you were going to be like this, and things change a lot, So especially since the early stages, I'm still honing my skills and everything. Things could change. The whole concept of the game could change, but it's mainly going to be focused on like a rich story experience.
Okay, there's no pressure at all. Just the whole internet knows about it now. So,
dang!
I'll give you what,
my inbox is gonna blow up.
I'll give you 2 weeks before I get 10 minutes worth. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I have people showing up my doorstep in SoCal, like, "Where's the game? Where's the game?"
They'll be showing up at your door with pizza and wearing their pajamas, saying the Mobeast pajama party.
Cut my AC out. Get to work.
I've still got my Transformer pajamas from the 80s, mate. I can squeeze into those.
Oh, no.
Let's talk about your first experiences with, like, what was your first ever gaming experience that you remember? Like, when was it, and what game, what console or arcade?
I have 2 very fond memories. My first game console experience, I've always played in the arcades as a kid. I remember there was like a Pizza Parlor, there was a Ninja Turtles game. But like console gaming, it was the SNES at my friend's house, and it was it the Yoshi's Island one, the one with Mario, his like always crying, the little baby one, and Mortal Kombat on the SNES. Yeah.
I remember those.
And that I never had a console that generation. I didn't get a console till the N64. My dad bought it, and we had Super Mario 64. It's like one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, that's a brilliant game. Mario 64, Mario
Hmm.
Kart 64,
Yeah.
GoldenEye, the original Perfect Dark. The 64 had so many great games, like Donkey Kong Country, like
Yeah.
groundbreaking games. Like what they made, that they I think all those games you couldn't get on any other console. No, they're all exclusives. Yeah, because a
They were
Nintendo.
all
Yeah,
exclusives. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that was a great console. I did love that console.
Yeah, although the
Yeah.
library was small,
Hmm.
but the games were amazing.
Great quality. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of fun games.
Tell us about what other consoles you had. So from the Super, sorry, the N64, moving
Hmm.
upwards.
So I grew up in a household. My parents had only one console per generation.
Hmm.
A lot of my friends had multiple or handhelds and everything. So after
Yeah.
the N64, my dad and I got to play on a PlayStation 1. We were
Hmm.
visiting some family overseas, and my cousins from the UK visited in the Middle East. We kind of coordinated it,
Hmm.
and my dad experienced a PlayStation. He's like, "Man, I gotta get a PlayStation." But that was around the same time the PS2 came out. So when we came back home from vacation, my dad surprised us for the PlayStation 2. Had NBA Street, Gran Turismo. I had like Kingdom Hearts. Like that is probably my favorite console of all time. The PS2 is hands down number one. I have a lot of memories with it. The library was amazing. I actually still have my original one.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, and I had all my original games. Like Need for Speed games were like amazing back then. I'm not trying to remember what other games were out there. All the Dragon Ball Z games were super sick. But after the PS2, I really wanted an Xbox just to play Halo. But also in between that time, I did have a PC, so I played like some of those smaller games,
Hmm.
nothing too violent. But between the PS2 and the 360, always wanted to play Halo. I got into PC, like hardcore PC gaming again. I got Halo, Counter Strike, and then I got a 360. That's when I started playing Halo 3, Gears of War, uh, all those, monumental RPG games that came out. That era of the 360 and PS3 really changed the way games were played till today. After the 360, that's when I started branching out to multiple consoles. I had a PS4, Xbox One, eventually got a Switch. Now I have a PS5, Xbox Series X. Yeah, VR, PC gaming, the whole shebang.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. For me, it was started with the ZX, the Spectrum. I mean,
Hmm.
that was like, I can't remember when that was. I barely remember that. And then it was the NES, then all the Nintendos, and then pretty much almost all consoles since then. Not all, but there were loads that came out, but the majority of the consoles since then. And then I went into PC. Then I got into VR. Well, I got into VR with the
Yeah,
PlayStation, PSVR, then PC, and got Half-Life Alyx, and then got a better GPU for Half-Life Alyx, and then
nice.
ended up with a Valve Index. So yeah, it's there were so many good games in the 80s and 90s, even now. But stuff like the console, like the N64, which had so many like monumental games, it's hard to top that kind of thing nowadays because
Hmm.
there's so many different games that are out. Do you do more console gaming or do you do more VR or a bit of both?
I do both.
Yeah.
I have my phases where I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I'm just only playing VR, or all of a sudden I'm playing flat screen games, or I'm in a point where it just depends on what my mood is. It's kind of a balance. So I don't discriminate in any games now. I'm actually visiting a lot of older games I never got to experience as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends had like Sega Genesis, and all these different consoles I never got to own. So now I'm kind of going back, just playing some of those games I never got to, especially on the handheld side. I only
Hmm.
had one Game Boy Advance SP. Had a few games for it. Pokemon Leaf Green was ever first handheld Pokemon game I owned. So I'm going back and playing some of the older ones here and there casually. I might not finish them, but just kind of dabble just to see where you know, the history of video gaming, especially now. Like I have a more of appreciation for gaming. No, not saying I didn't before, but now like when you're making video games, you kind of have that appreciation. Like, where did this creativity come from? How did RPG start? Like you start going playing Link's Awakening, all these old Zelda games that shaped RPGs today.
Yeah.
Now you have RPGs in VR.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really cool to go visit and look at kind of like a time capsule of this era of video gaming.
Yeah, it's kind of like experiencing games and it's like doing research at the same time, right? That's really cool. What about what's your setup right now for your PC and VR and stuff?
My setup's pretty overkill. So
See that crazy laugh? I was like, is he gonna kill me?
So essentially, my main PC, the one I do all the gaming and editing, and game development, it's 3090 Founders Edition, AMD 5950X CPU. I got 64 gigs of RAM, a ton of hard drive, 10 of NVMe storage. I do have an ultra wide monitor that I just got a few months ago. It's a game changer. Like if you're into PC gaming, a flat screen gaming, ultra wide is a game changer. I don't know how I lasted so long without it. I have a few monitors on the side. So I have a total of 4 monitors, but I have a second PC that used to have a 1080 Ti in there, now has a 3080. Mainly for the recording, because I do a dual PC setup. I know it's a little overkill. I have an i9 in there, and one of the monitors has a dual HDMI splitter, so I can alternate between the two computers for that monitor. That one's kind of just like extra, like some of my emulators or just storage, a lot of high quality videos, and all the recording that I do when I do game.
Okay. So you've got four monitors. So
yeah, I could make it 5, but I haven't decided yet.
It's not a gaming room. It's like the Starship Enterprise, isn't it? Really? Let's be serious.
It's a Millennium Falcon, right?
Yeah, mate. It's like 4 monitors. Damn. I've just got like a 50-inch 4K plastered onto my wall, and that's my monitor. That's my gaming. That's everything.
Those side panel monitors, like you just find them cheap used.
Yeah.
They're nothing crazy. Like some of them $80, $100.
Yeah.
It looks crazy, but some basic 1080p monitors, you know.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. I mean, do you know what sounds crazy? That laugh you just did earlier. I was really scared there for a minute.
You can make it a soundbite now and use it.
You should do voice acting like as the evil bad guy, like in a Bond movie or something. Let's talk about your. So that's obviously quite a crazy setup, but what's more crazy is your gaming room. So let's talk more about your gaming room, how it started, what was the first little collection you got, and how it grew, and where it is today.
Okay, you got a minute? I'm just kidding.
Go for it. Go.
So I've always wanted that kind of game room experience as a kid. There was elements of it growing up. It's interesting. I was thinking about it the other day. It's kind of like that immersion. That's why like I'm pretty obsessed with VR. Always thought like, how much more can I be immersed in video games and my obsession with video games. So essentially, like I remember as a kid growing up, I always wanted a lot of those toys. Or I'm not saying my parents didn't get them, but they didn't just give us whatever we want, you know.
Yeah.
So they kind of found that medium balance. But my obsession was always there. I remember I would cut out like pictures from like, you know, those Toys R Us book. I don't know if you guys had like toy stores that would send like all the booklet for the holidays. It's all the toys. I would cut out some of those pictures and just save them in a Ziploc bag. And it's like, this is what I want as a kid. So eventually, you know, my dad built a second garage room, or a garage room, for me and my friends to sit in there. We kind of had a surround. He got us like old car seats from the junkyard. Those were the seats. We had my PlayStation in there, a small TV, some really old like dinky speakers for surround sound, and air quotes surround sound. So that was kind of like the first fruition of like as a kid having a game room, but there was nothing in it. It was just the console. My dad's like, your friends are always over, just have them in the garage, and that way like the family can just, you know, have its own space. So eventually as I grew up and got moved out, had my own place, and I was living in a studio, and my wife was like, she's like, it's time for us to move and get an actual full-on apartment, multiple bedrooms. I was like, I kind of don't want to. And then she kind of just was trying to like find different ways to like, propose like, hey, we should do it. This would be nice. I was like, well, if I get the second room for myself, I'll do it like next month. It's like deal. So then that deal, pushed me to finally make a full-on game room. So I already had a few collectibles here and there, some figures, a lot of video games, but I would say it's not a video game or a collectible or a figure, but the first ever thing the oldest thing I have in my room is a Bugs Bunny telephone. My
Okay.
dad gave it to me as a kid. It could work, but you need a phone line, but no one ever uses that. It's literally Bugs Bunny having his hands over his head, legs crossed, and it's sitting there, and that's kind of like the oldest piece that I have. Essentially, I had like, some of my old game consoles, my PS2, my N64, my 360, my PS4, my PC. And eventually I started collecting all the consoles that I never got to own as a kid, like a GameCube, the first Xbox, like the Halo edition, a Dreamcast, a Sega Genesis. Like I would find them, and people like before COVID, it was like really, it wasn't cheap, but it was not this crazy. So I kind of like got in at the right time and got out from like heavily collecting. And I would just start finding random video games for those consoles and just start collecting those. It became kind of an ongoing hobby that I would do, instead of just doing drugs. That's what I tell my mom. Every time she visits, she's like, I just like, what is this room? I was like, I could be doing drugs or I could be doing this. She's like, that's a good point.
Just pull the syringe out. I could be doing this, or I could be doing this.
Pick one.
That's crazy. So you started with like cutting up things and putting them in a Ziploc bag, and like then you've come to this crazy kind of like an obsession, right?
Yeah.
That's madness. So you've got all kinds of stuff on your wall as well. You didn't talk about the stuff on your wall. You just talked about the shelves. Let's talk about your wall. You got some crazy. Yeah.
So I have a few lightsabers.
Yeah.
I kind of need to somehow make more space because I do want some more lightsabers. I have, if you watch it, Demon Slayer, the anime, I have one of the swords. I have 2 Kratos axes. I'm a really huge God of War fan. I have some art pieces, like mainly the Joker. He's one of my favorite villains.
Mm-hmm.
I have Batman's Batarang from the Dark Knight Rises. I have the Blades of Chaos from God of War. I think at the top of my head too. I have a few 3D printed items, like the Skyrim waypoint.
Mm-hmm.
I have that on the wall. And the rest of I have like shelves with other figures on there. Oops, I hit my headset.
Sorry. Sorry, mate.
I think in the wall, I think that's all I could think of. On the wall itself, yeah, that's it.
And what do you have in your collection that's your prized possession? What would you say is the one thing that is your number one? Just whisper because they can hear you. You're in the game room right now, right? So the rest of them can hear you.
Yeah. It's like Toy Story. But I would say the thing that I would say 2 things that are like really special to me. As a kid, I always wanted Woody and Buzz Lightyear, and I never got to get it. And eventually, when I grew up, this one, Toy Story 4 came out.
Yeah.
I forgot the girl, the new girl that the toys are owned by. I forgot her name, but all the new Toy Story toys have her name on the bottom on their shoes. So it took me a while to find the ones that had Andy. So I was able to find a Buzz and a Woody that had Andy on there. I was like, this is one of my favorite things. And I would say the custom Leviathan axe from God of War that I got, that I used for my God of War video. That kind of really special to me because it's something that like I kind of got custom made.
Nice.
And it was a really fun video to make. So it kind of really has a special place.
Oh, that's kind of sweet. I mean, I want to ask you a question. When you first met your wife and you first showed her the game room, did she walk out and did she did she say, "Wow, this is great"? And what was her reaction? Did she look at you like you're crazy?
Well, I was the deal I made with my wife, like to have that game room when we moved
Oh,
out
so
of our
this
studio.
is okay. Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but when she saw me actually put everything together, she's like, "What the heck?"
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
all of a sudden we move, all like, "Cool, I have more space and buy more stuff." So all of a sudden all these packages started coming to the house. She's like, "What the hell's going on?"
yeah,
Till this day, like, she's like, "Oh, that's new." I was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, that's been there for a few weeks. You didn't notice."
And your mum's just like, he should have taken drugs.
My mom sometimes doesn't even like when she visits. She doesn't even walk by the room. I have a restroom by there. She just goes to the other side of the apartment and uses the other restroom.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I will link your video because you did do it. You did an in-depth video about your whole setup and things like that. So I'll link that in the description. And another video you did is the B haptics. Let's talk about B haptics because you had it for what 6 weeks now, or
About 6 weeks, yeah. About 6 weeks, yeah.
Let us know your experience, what you played, what you found works, what you think could do with a bit more kind of fine tuning.
It's awesome, dude. To be honest, I was a little worried that I was gonna feel underwhelmed.
Yeah.
It definitely adds a level of immersion. Like some of my favorite moments, I mainly play in Pavlov for right now. But it's really cool. Like when you get shot from the back,
Yeah.
it's totally different. Like getting shot from the front's cool, like because you're seeing it. But when you're walking around in those corners, you remember the office room in Pavlov, and like you're like creeping around the different corners, and all of a sudden some guy shoots you from the back, and you just jump. It changes the way you play because your focus now is like, I gotta turn around.
Yeah.
Like that, it adds a level of like alertness. It was really cool. I don't think there's I don't think there's a setting to increase the intensity of them.
Yeah.
I don't believe, but the software for it, I remember I read some old posts, but the new software, the way they integrate all the mods, it's all built in. So for instance, like if you want to play a game that's not natively supported, you can use the app and kind of just download those mods directly into it. Actually, I did play Boneworks with it too, which was kind of cool. But mainly a lot of my time was in Pavlov with the vest. It's definitely a very expensive item for VR, but if you really want to add that level of immersion, I highly recommend it if you can. I got it on the sale too, which was really random. At the time I was thinking about buying it, that week they had that graduation and Father's Day sale. I was like, boom, that's the time.
Oh, cool. I think also very recently RFVR has had the haptics integrated as well.
I heard about that.
Yeah, they did a video, the B-Haptics guys. Alex from Between Realities he's a part of the B-Haptics crew and he narrates the videos, so he did that. And there's loads of games that are getting integrated to the B-Haptics like all the time, so it's getting more and more popular. And then it's slowly, same with headsets and all the stuff going on at the moment, everything will become cheaper and more accessible, right? So the technology will improve, just like anything else, like in history, right? So you did a video on the 2070 laptop, which was, can it run VR? How does it run VR? Now, let us know a bit more about what games you ran and what you found with that kind of laptop gaming versus PC gaming.
So it's funny that video kind of came to fruition because of I think it was on your Discord channel.
Ms. Baker.
There was a few people, Miss Baker, a lot of people, and amongst other people, they're all like debating, hey, Miss Baker.
You're famous. You're famous. Sorry.
No, it's cool. Because up until like a couple weeks ago, like graphics cards were impossible to get or they were way too expensive. So a lot of people were resulting to laptops, or pre-built, mainly because laptops you can get more out of it, and a lot of people kind of like that point of like, hey, I can take it wherever I go. I really didn't think that laptop VR gaming would be not possible, but even enjoyable.
Yeah.
I really thought, I was like, it's not even worth, if you're gonna get into VR, worth getting a laptop. I'm not saying that it's oh my god amazing, but it could definitely get the job done. Yeah. Especially on a 2070, when did the 2070 series came out? I think it was like what, 2017
Was it 2018?
2017, 2017, 2018.
Yeah, yeah.
I think no, 2018. You're right, 2018.
Yep.
That's when I was trying to get a 1080 Ti at that time. So you're talking, and this is a laptop GPU. People don't realize like the laptop GPUs, just because it's 27 on a laptop, 2070, it's not the same as a full-on 2070. So I was like, oh, this would be a kind of cool video to do. So I ran one of the games I didn't post on there, but it was by accident. I think it was Boneworks. It was I played Boneworks, Blade and Sorcery, Pavlov, Half-Life Alyx. I did run the settings on medium, on medium quality. I had to do that, but using virtual desktop with a Quest 2 and having a dedicated router, that's kind of my setup. So if you kind of don't have a dedicated router, it might not work as well. But I had a dedicated router and I have pretty good internet speed, so I was able to run it via virtual desktop.
Okay.
I didn't run it with the link cable, but I'm pretty sure it'd be just as good. But I didn't want to turn my head and just yank my laptop off the table. You know what I mean? I was too scared.
Might cause problems, yeah.
But yeah, I was really impressed. Like I said in the video, was Half-Life Alyx. I was really impressed. That was actually my first time in Half-Life Alyx actually playing through the story mode, because I was at the time I was waiting to set up my my B haptics vest, and I was waiting for the force tube to come in. I was like, I don't want to play it till then, but I feel like I had to use this game as a benchmark. And I was playing it for, I think, probably 30 minutes. I was like, you know what? I might as well let me start. It was really enjoyable. Like, I was getting about 80 frames a second on average, with no crazy delays or crazy latency. And there was no point where it kind of dipped in frames. Only like when there was a part when you know, in the beginning when those guards get you.
Yeah.
Every time, that was the only time there was that animation where you get shot, or not shot, hit in the face, or stunned. Was it stunned or hit? Yeah, that was the only time it dropped to like 65. But it was a scene transition. But other than that, it was solid. Even playing Pavlov multiplayer, like for a multiplayer game, you need smooth FPS. It was really enjoyable. And
you mentioned the gun stock as well, because I know you said you wanted to get as immersed as possible. So you've got the vest, now you've got the gun stock, and have you got anything else like that? Have you got the leg trackers and the face trackers and all that kind of crazy stuff? Or?
I got the chip in my head now. I got everything. I'm connected to the Matrix.
He's a real Terminator, this guy.
I mean, but yeah, the gun stock was really cool. I still really need to mess around with the settings.
Yeah.
But man, it's fun. It's kind of hard to get used to though, because like you can't really see because you have a headset on your head. So you the only difficult part, I actually broke the sling and they had to send me another one. They told me they never had anyone break the sling. I was like, I guess I'm a little too aggressive, but having it slinging over across your body and then just grabbing it was kind of difficult because you can't really see. But other than that, it was really enjoyable. But if I had to pick between the gun stock or the vest, if someone asked me if I had to pick one or the other, I would say I would go with the vest. Because with the gun stock, you're only going to play shooting games. So if you're able to play Blade and Sorcery and all these different games, I think the vest is more enjoyable for sure.
And what gun stock did you get? Which one was it?
The there's like that crazy high-powered one now. I got the one right under it, the basic one. I forgot the name.
Pro Tube or
the Pro Tube? Yeah.
Ah, okay. Did you
use the Pro Tube? And I got the pistol attachment too, so I can add it on top. And the
Provolver.
The Provolver. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Did you use Mac's affiliate link? I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to get Mac to get the nicer one. Get enough people to use his links and to get the Storm, Storm stock. I think it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done some really good videos for the Provolver stuff. He's got a really good relationship with them. He actually sent me a gun stock.
Oh, nice.
Like a year ago, and I haven't used it at all. Yeah, I'm a naughty boy. I will use it, Mac. I keep saying to him, I'm going to get the sling, the double sling or something you need. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'll have to order it as soon as I get off this out of the studio. Just remind me.
Do it right now.
I'll do it right now while we're chatting. But yeah, with immersion, it's like obviously VR is the ultimate gaming immersion, and as we get more headsets come out, better FOV and FPS and eye tracking and FOV rendering, all that, it's just going to go insane. So the next few years are really exciting for VR. There's so many good games that are coming out in the future. It's kind of at the moment it's a little bit PC VR wise. There are some good titles coming up, but it's not as frequent that we see a really good title, is it? In PC VR especially. So, do you spend a lot of time in on App Lab games? Do you get a lot of App Lab games and test them out as well?
The only one I played that I really liked was Arcade.
Yeah,
Remember the one? That one's really cool because it has that retro synth vibe. But other than that, I just use my Quest for PC VR. There have been a few games I play on Quest.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a. I mean, I have a PC and I prefer playing better graphics, especially when you have like a dedicated router. It's a whole different game changer. You know, no latency. So I kind of strictly stick to PC VR.
So you're an elitist, a purist.
Yep. The elite master race, you know?
Yeah, same here. I mean, when I did have a Quest 2, I honestly, I think I played it once, just natively. Just once. The rest of it is all PCVR, literally.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
I mean, there are a few games that are exclusive to it that are fun to play.
Yeah.
But I did play this game called Terminal? You know what I'm talking about?
Terminus,
It's kind of... Yeah, I played it with some of my family, my wife's family. Some of them have headsets. It was cool, but it wasn't really my cup of tea, so I kind of refunded it. But other than that, not really.
Oh, you're one of those. You're a refunder.
That was the only game I ever refunded on the Quest.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry guys. I gotta pay for this PC, you know?
I've only refunded, I don't know, 20 to 30 games in my life. I actually got to the point on Steam where I said, look, this doesn't work. But if I refund the game, it's a legit. I contact the dev and say, look, this is my issue. I'll give them a cut, like just so it's a 2 weeks or 14 days or 2 hours. And if they haven't sorted it out, I'll just say, any news? They don't go, actually, I'm sorry, I'm refunding it. And I got to the point where Steam were like, you keep refunding games, you can't do it anymore. And then because I was refunding quite a lot because
Damn.
I had the Quest 2, and it's weird because then when I had the Quest 2, you'd have issues running the Quest 2 in PC games, but now it's the other way around. Like the Quest 2 works on all the PC games, and people like me who have the index, you get issues. So it's just like, yeah, you can't win.
I've never had that.
Yeah, it wasn't a stupid amount, but it was like but I think they have within a period like of a month. If you do more than 3 refunds, they'll probably say that to you, I guess. I've got loads of games that I know are really good in VR, but I just haven't played them for whatever reason. And a lot of the reasons is you need somebody with that game to play with. So I've been streaming quite a lot recently, but it's all solo stuff. So I need to start streaming multiplayer. So RFR multiplayer and things like that. And there's quite a few games in my library. I'll actually let you know what ones I'm talking about and see if we can get a little crew going. Because it's a shame to have so many games and just be like, I've categorized all my games, and the biggest category is unplayed VR games, just like that. Oh man, yeah. you know what it's like though. You see a game and you buy it, and you're like, yeah.
It's more of a PC thing. It's like the backlog because the sales on Steam are so ridiculous. You're like, I might as well get it now. I might have it because you never know. It's like when you do want to play it, it's like $30 versus like you get it for $10 or $5 or whatever it is. You might as well buy it in advance. So Steam Summer Sale, all the PC gamers' money goes to Valve.
Yep, 100%. I even the only thing I bought on that last sale was the Payday 2. It was like 79p, and I played it. I played it. It was actually really good fun.
Yeah, dude. I remember that was one of the first early games I started getting back into for PC gaming in general. And that's when I first custom built my first PC. I had a 660 on that PC. I still have it. Wow. So I remember playing Payday 2 with my friends. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
in VR, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't do the tutorial, but it was quite funny. It was crazy.
You have a VR mod?
Yeah, it's in VR. It's VR. The game is VR.
Oh my god. Wait.
Breaking
Payday.
news.
Payday
2 is VR, yeah. You just put it in your head and just start it up.
Oh my... Oh, I just thought it was flat screen.
No, honestly, it goes on sale for like 90 cents, 99 cents. It's probably on sale now. I'll play
Oh my
that with
God.
you. I'll play that with you.
I'm down. You learn something new every day, guys.
Yeah, yeah, and it's. I'm one of those people that I'm always constantly on the store, just looking at what's coming and what's on sale and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, Payday 2, I will definitely play with you because I thought it was a blast. I played for like half an hour. There was obviously you're doing a robbery. It's like a mix between GTA Heist and you're actually in the movie Heat, right? And I was laughing so much. So with my twisted mind and your know-how of the game, I think we'll have some fun.
Oh, it's been years since I've played that game, so I probably don't even remember.
Oh man, yeah, let's do
But,
that.
yeah,
Let's
I'm
do
down.
it. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
We need to add each other. We need to be Steam friends as well, don't we? To add each other on
Yeah.
Steam.
We're Discord friends, but not Steam friends.
Yeah, yeah. We'll take. Now that you're on my show, we'll take the relationship to the next level. What games are you looking forward to then? So there's quite a few coming up on the horizon. What would you say are you looking forward to the most? So you think, right, I'm going to get that game and I know I'm going to love it.
Bone Lab, for sure.
Yeah.
And I've never really heard a lot of people talk about this in the VR space, mainly Among Us VR. I
Sure.
love that game, Among Us. I think it'd be really cool to add that VR experience. And Ghostbusters, because I grew up watching Ghostbusters as a kid. So
Yeah,
yeah.
same here. Yeah, I grew up watching Ghostbusters. Did you sign up for the Among Us testing?
Oh, they're. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had testing available.
I'll send you the link.
Via Steam or free at Quest.
I think both. I'll send you the link, mate.
Okay.
It's my bad. I was supposed to share it on my Discord. I didn't do it. I forgot because I got it just when I was in the middle of getting into Neos or something like that, and I forgot to share it. I'll share that with you. Yeah.
Shame on you. Shame on you. I'm just kidding.
I'm a bad father. I'm sorry. What other games are you playing at the moment then? What has Mobeast been playing the past week or so?
Past week, I've been getting back into Modern Warfare. Just playing gun game with some of my friends, and I'm going through Resident Evil 2. I never played all the Resident Evils, so I'm kind of like back onto flat screen gaming at the moment. But I lost my game progress for Boneworks, my save file, because I had to do PC wipe. And so for some reason, that game doesn't support cloud save for your file. I was like, oh, this is so weird. So I didn't think I needed to back it up because I was like, oh, this is a popular game. It would have cloud save via Steam, but I guess it didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm replaying the story mode in that. I was almost done, but those are the 3 games mainly I'm playing at the moment.
Okay, so that's you got back into flat screen. I've done one of my favorite games of all time was Resident Evil, the original one. So maybe 4 years ago, when I had consoles, I bought Resident Evil 1, the remake, and I was like, I will definitely play through this. And then I sold my console and all that stuff. So I got PS5 recently for PSVR 2. That is on my list. I'm currently, like we've talked about this, I'm doing The Last of Us Part 1. I'm still on it. It's been ages, but I do a little bit at a time. And then I've got to do for number 2, then I've got to do Horizon 1 and 2. And then I've got to do God of War. I started playing God of War 2018, I think it was the remake. And it blew my mind. I was about an hour and a half in. Like literally not even, probably an hour and a half. And I was like, this is crazy. It's brilliant. Just the stuff you can do. I didn't know God of War was that cool. Because when I played God of War, it's when it was the early days, the first 1 or 2, and my mate showed me it. Same with like Gears of War. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's all right. It was just the gimmick. You just cut people with a chainsaw or whatever you do. And for some reason, they just didn't click with me. But now God of War, they changed it though, haven't they? Like, it's totally changed from how it was.
Yeah.
And I've seen your video of God of War when you're half naked running around. He gets half naked. He lifts some weights, right? And then he goes half naked. He goes, oh, yeah, let's make a video. And he runs around the field in a little loincloth. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Sure. So, I grew up watching my friends play the first few God of Wars on PS2.
Okay. Yeah.
My mom was pretty on top of certain games that I can play or not play. So I played Kingdom Hearts with Mickey Mouse instead of God of War. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I won't remember that. I won't pick on you for that at any point ever.
I should have said it on here. It's recorded. Damn it.
No problem, Mickey. It's fine.
So yeah, I started playing God of War 2018, probably like 6 months after it came out. My friend told me, he's like, man, like you really you would love this game. So I don't know if a lot of people know that. If you guys already follow me on like my regular Instagram, not my gaming one, that game God of War kind of holds a really deeper connection to my heart than any other video game, I would say. Mainly because it's a father and son story.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my father at 18 years old. So to play that game, like probably, I think 9 years after he had passed, or 8, it really it really sat with me, you know what I mean, because that
Yeah.
father son story.
Mm-hmm.
So after that I played that game. I had a knee injury at the time, so I'm pretty active in the weight room, martial arts and everything. I'm into video games. I'm a total dork. I've always wanted to cosplay. So around that time I was like, I kind of want to do something special. I did a video about kind of like my why, because I was in the personal training business. So I did a marketing video
Mm-hmm.
about my why, how I got into training. It was mainly because of my dad. So I was like, I kind of want to do a follow-up video. So since this is a father-son story, and I love the video game, and Kratos is a straight beast, I was like, let me do something totally different that the fitness industry has never done. And I'm a total dork, and combine my love for video games and nerdy stuff and cosplaying with working out. So I made that video. I trained for about 2.5, 3 months with an injured knee. So I had a kind of a colleague of mine. He used to be a bodybuilder. He used to be Mr. California back in 2000 or 2001.
Mm-hmm.
He's straight beast. So I trained with him every week. He put me on a diet. It was one of the most difficult training periods of my life in the gym and diet, just to get in shape for this Kratos video. I kind of wanted to stay along the lines of the video game, kind of mix Kratos working out in the gym and out in the woods and the mountains. I've always wanted to do a follow-up video for it, but it'll come eventually. But at the moment, maybe sometime after the next one coming out, it would be easier to make a video based off that. But that's kind of the gist of how that video became what it was and why I did it, and how I got the custom Leviathan axe for that video.
Oh, you did mention that. Yeah, that's one of your prized possessions. I think I will link that in the description down below as well, along with your channel and everything else.
Appreciate it.
All of your kind of where's the best place to find you? So YouTube, TikTok. If you want to just give us the details.
On everything, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I have 2 Instagrams. One for my personal workout and just casual and just strictly gaming, and TikTok. But yeah, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Yeah, Mobeast Gaming, or Mohammed Obid. Yeah.
Okay, I'll link it all down below to kind of so people know, because there's a lot of different links people got. I've forgotten already.
I can just copy paste my description and send it to you. You can just
there you go. We were talking about, before we started filming, we were talking about what YouTube, the algorithm, and like also your channel. So let's start with, you haven't uploaded for a few weeks,
about a month or so. Yeah, a few weeks. Yeah. My bad, guys.
That's the end. No. So
that's it.
So are you looking to be? And we've DM'd each other and stuff, but with YouTube, it's like if you have to put a video out every week, preferably the same day at the same time, and all that kind of stuff, and it's so easy to miss it for whatever reason, and then the algorithm, it literally punishes you, right? So there's so many people I spoke to recently, like even big YouTubers, and they're like, the algorithm just keeps, like, it's crazy. It is crazy. Like, I know people who went away for a week, didn't upload a video, and the channel just died. I know Mac went away for a week. He put a video up like 5 or 6 of those days. He preset them, and then for some reason his channel just took a massive dip. I mean, it's really tough, YouTube as well, especially when you're first starting out. There's so much competition, and like everybody's golden goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers, and to do that you need to upload every every week. And do you have anything lined up? Do you have like a schedule? You think, right, I can start doing it every week now?
Is this an intervention to get me back on YouTube?
Yes.
All of a sudden, people are going to be at my door. We want YouTube videos and want your video game.
Mate, and then then you're going to go around to every single one of your subscribers and apologise to them for what you've done.
I think all 181 of them, yeah, going to be at my door.
182 after this video, I'll subscribe.
At the moment right now, I do have some video ideas I want to do. Number one, probably another game room update. That video is pretty obsolete now. The room is changed a lot.
Yeah.
I do wanted to go over some of the mods in Half-Life and Boneworks, but mainly do a Half-Life Alex stream.
Yeah.
Play through that. Kind of. I know a lot of people like. There's few games. Just in general, people like to watch people's reaction to like one of some monumental games like Metal Gear, Kingdom Hearts, Skyrim, because it's so monumental. People like to see people's experiences and reactions. So I think Half-Life Alyx with the vest, the stock, and the NVR would be really interesting and fun to watch for a lot of people. So that's on the list. Schedule-wise, probably I am having knee surgery in a month and a half. Yeah, I have a torn meniscus. It's an injury I've been dealing with for about 10 years on and off. So I'll have a lot of downtime. So I think I'll spend most of my days programming and making videos. So I know I have been slacking, and Serge always tells me, when's your next YouTube video? When's your next YouTube video? I'm like, man, this guy's really pushing me. So I kind of have to, just for you, Serge. Only videos strictly for you. If I need any subscribers, you're the only one I need. No, I'm just kidding. But life's kind of busy right now. I know everyone's life's busy. I'm pretty sure your life's busy, and you still manage to do it. It's not an excuse, but I'm trying to manage and build a pretty good schedule. But I promise you guys, So it'll be a mix of gameplay and probably comparisons, like some of that, that laptop video I did. Kind of start off kind of with that, kind of a little bit of mix, not just like, hey, here's another video game, because a lot of people do that kind of stuff, So trying to add different elements of VR and questions people have in VR, because it is a growing and niche world right now for a lot of people, and a lot of people who don't know anything about it, what's out there. So kind of explore some of those unknown aspects of VR. Now, my first time here in Neos, I walked in, I was like, this is insane. And the amount of options and things you can do. So kind of explore those aspects of VR.
Yes, after this, we are going to go on a little run around. I'll show you around Neos. You won't believe it. It'll blow your mind. Most people, 50-50, I say, people that come on here, I can show them around beforehand. I show them, then they come and sit down and talk about how crazy it is, and then some people it's like I show them afterwards. But I can guarantee you, it's insane. Neos is brilliant, and I reckon you'll be in Neos as well quite a bit after this.
Definitely. I am gonna be in Neos probably about a month for something else. I'm not really sure I'm able to talk about it yet, but as it gets closer, I'll probably release. There'll be some kind of form of live stream. So I'll probably announce it, because I'm not really sure the details out yet, but it's something I'm pretty excited for. Yeah, that's all I can say, because I'm not really sure if I could say anything yet, but yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. You can hold things from us. It's not like
Yeah. I mean, you guys are gonna be at my door after this anyway, so I'll just, if you show up at my door, I'll probably tell you.
I'll just, when you're sleeping, I'll break into your room and just hack into your computer. That's fine. I'll leave your little transformer on your table when I leave, just so you know I've been there.
Take my Leviathan axe and break my door down.
Have you played much? Did you spend much time in like VR chat and that kind of stuff before you got into Neos?
I never got onto VR chat because I saw the crazy. I didn't watch it more than I actually played in it.
Yeah.
For me, I'm more that type where all the crazy funny stuff, I like watch people do it. I never really jumped into those type of games. It never really, not saying I don't like them, it just never was on my priority list.
Yeah.
But seeing you talk about Neos and especially when you had Skiva on, and a bunch of other people talk about it, I've never heard of it. And I was like, this is something that I feel like is more down my alley.
Yeah.
Than VR chat.
Yeah. Yeah, because the difference is you don't have to go into a PC. It's literally the engine on the fly. You can just manipulate stuff. You can build stuff. You can do so much crazy stuff. I mean, the studio I've got here is pretty basic compared to some of my friends. Like, I've been to Skiva's studio. You were actually. Let's talk about that quickly. You were on Between Realities couple of weeks ago, weren't you, on their finale show?
The finale, yeah. They kind of had some. They left it open for a lot of people to come jump on and talk. So
yeah,
I was like, I love this podcast, and I was like, these guys are really cool. And Skiva, him and Alex are really cool, especially on Twitter. Like, Skiva really helped me about the vets because I wasn't really sure if I wanted to invest that much money. And I kind of already talked about on that podcast, like, the VR community is just so welcoming. You know, even though you already know about VR, there's a lot you don't know. And then if you talk to people online, any other community, usually you just never get a response. You know what I mean? So with the VR community, you always get a response, whether it's a funny joke or you actually have a legitimate question. So, but yeah.
Yeah, with VR, it's crazy because in order to sell more VR headsets or more people to invest or buy a headset, they need to put the headset on themselves. It's crazy. Like a video game, you can look at the graphics on a PS5 and be like, oh my god, I want a PS5. It's it's totally different with VR, and the community is so, like you said, welcoming. And I think it's because we know what we've got is something really special, and we just want everybody to kind of experience it to the max. And Alex and Skiva are brilliant. I'm going to link their podcast down below as well, and that podcast is great. They do the Upload VR as well, where they work for them. They go and do all the game exhibitions, and I DM Skiva, like, what you been doing this week, what you been up to, and he's always doing something like
that guy's at every convention.
Yeah. I've met him in here a couple of times. You know, we had a little. We went to this world that was literally Half-Life. One of the Half-Life, somebody remade it all in Neos. It was insane.
Wow.
We just kept walking and walking and walking and walking. It's literally through the whole game. I think we got pretty far, but it wasn't the other people and fighting and all that stuff. But they actually just started on the map. It's insane what you can find in Neos. It's crazy. I do love it. I don't spend enough time in it. That's the problem. But when I do,
there's so much in VR to spend your time in. Neos itself is its own entity itself. you know?
Yeah. I mean, last week I had Papillon de Feu on here, and it was the first time in Neos. I've been telling for ages, get on Neos, I'll show you it around. So we ended up going around for a few hours. We came back and she's like, oh my god, that's crazy. Then the next day her mate started building a world to do some Pop 1 stuff, and then she said to me, oh look, I'd like to do this, that and the other. I said, look, we can do it. We just need to get the assets. Like, this table here is an asset, and then you just paint it. Everything's an asset, and then you painted it, like, and then, you know, even the walls, the background, it's all just assets that you do, and you can manipulate it and stuff like that. And it's how far your imagination can go. That is literally what Neos is.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
And to add on to that, it's very interesting. I tell people VR is in a stage where, because of the community and the creativity and all this boom and just software and hardware, we're kind of in that same moment where video games was booming during the SNES and 64 PlayStation 1 era. You had the community was very small, everyone was welcoming, the creativity and the possibilities were so crazy, and I feel like VR is getting that same, starting in that same time period, just like console gaming was first starting.
Yeah, that's so true. It is really true. It's a great time to be in VR. It's a great time for you to be kind of, you know, creating your own game. I've always thought about. I've got a friend as well, and we've always talked about this game will be great, that game will be great, but we never actually done it. But now it's different because it's like it's in VR, and it's like I what I'll do is I'll hit you up and I try and get the gist of the basics of, you know, the very basics of like coding or whatever. What would you say the first step would be to get on?
I started first dabbling on YouTube. There's so much information out there, and like Unity and Unreal are free. I started messing around with Unreal Engine 4. I forgot which version, but it was back in 2020. When the lockdowns were happening, I was like, let me just start doing something and learning. And it's honestly like so easy to get in because the barrier to entry is free. Back then, like people like you needed money, you needed resources, a whole team. Now you can start like, or even Game Boy Studio is free. It's like a very simple, basic game that you can make and start learning if you even like this type of aspect of it. Even though you don't want to make Game Boy games, but just to learn and be creative. If you're a creative person and you're willing to learn, I would say YouTube. Go to YouTube and just download Unreal Engine. And if you're really interested, start going into Udemy. I know people say Skillshare also, but I have Udemy. There's a lot of sales. I never paid full price for any of those courses because they're always on sale for like $20, $15, $30. You can get programming for, C++ or C Sharp, or even just how do I navigate and use Unreal, and they'll teach you how to make very basic games in Unreal Engine or Unity. So I would start off on YouTube and just start watching. Sometimes I'll just like watch people, like you said, build a game or just make an asset for a game. Like, how does this come to life? Or someone make a game based on a feature within the engine. You know what I mean? Just start going like that. I think that's because I'm still a beginner. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here as like I know what I'm doing, but from beginner to beginner or beginner to someone who's interested, that's what I would recommend and suggest, because that's what I did.
Cool. I mean, it's not going to be easy for sure, but I will definitely look into it. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Mo?
No, I just want to say that, Serge, you're super dope, bro. You got a game room right over there. I see your collection. Give me some new ideas. So people talk about my gear. This dude has a pool table, arcade machine. I don't even have an arcade machine in my room. I'm just kidding. But no, man. It's a pleasure to be on here. Me and Serge have been talking for a few months now. It's just actually cool to be on here. And just a lot of the VR people like you, Skiv, Alex, I consider you guys all my friends. Just not just VR friends though, because we all have a commonality and everyone's super chill and dope. But when you do break into my room, I might have to demote you from friend to questionable. So just if you're willing to take that risk.
Okay, but I'm allowed to take one personal item of yours from your room. Mate, it's been thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. It's great to I knew you're dabbling in games, but I've actually learned quite a lot about what you're doing with your VR game that you're going to be working on. And obviously it's going to take a bit of time, but I look forward to updates on that. If you need testers or anything like that, if you want,
we can do, when I do full demo release or a little sneak peek, I can send it to you. You can show it on here if you want or whatever. But I'm open to that.
Oh yeah, I can stream it on my channel. That's not a problem. The best place to find you is going to be linked down below. So everything to do with you will be linked down below. Subscribe to his channel. He's got some awesome videos on there. He's going to have more stuff coming out. And even when he's on the operating table, he's going to be editing videos. That's his commitment to us today.
Yep, that's my commitment. What would be the punishment? Sir takes over my whole room.
Alright guys, what we're going to be doing is every Sunday 4 PM we'll have an episode of Behind the VR Headset. You can also now catch me every other Monday on the Virtually Rek't podcast, which will be on the Mac and VR channel and Power on VR channel, so I will link those down below. And so I'll be doing this every Sunday, every other week I'll be on that podcast. And guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. See ya.
Bye guys.
Bye.